Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Under Construction. This is episode number 43, maybe? That's a blind guess. Maybe it's 44. Maybe it's 9, maybe it's none of those things. But I feel like this last... Okay, hold on, I can check. Last one was 43. This one's 44. Because that is how the number line works. And today we're going to be talking all about mathematics and calculus. And that's all complete lies, because I'm not going to talk about that in the show, other than how bad I was at calculus. And we're not doing math today. Not today. We will have to again in the future, once we get back to Mason's Landing, to do all the things. But anyways, it was possible that I was going to bring people along today for a discussion topic, because Shortline Productions gave us a nice one about mergers, but there were some technical difficulties and some people weren't around, etc., etc. So I saved it, and I'm going to be getting to it maybe next time when we have some other people, and when I have some more time to research the subject, because admittedly I'm not exactly a scholar. It would just be us talking about, you know, I mean, us BSing is definitely not unusual or uncalled for in the show, but I do like to be at least a little bit informed on this. So, I digress. Let me turn my music down a little bit. I can turn your music down all in post, but because that's fairly simple to do. But yeah, we're back on the NCS live stream, no copyright sounds, etc., so I can continue making these videos as usual without any real issues. The biggest thing today is I want to do more around Asbury Ranch. We did a lot of work on the swamp last time, but it was pretty much limited to that. The other thing I might want to work on is the little beach community, but I don't want to get too far from Asbury until I'm done with it, because that's like a little mini area, and honestly, it shouldn't be that much effort. It's just sort of a question of what do I put there at this point. The real questions that I have to ask are like, okay, what do I want to do? Let me move this somewhere where I can see that. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. No, I can't do that. Oh, wait. I can do that. That is something I would rather have out there. I just moved the little CPU thing down onto my taskbar. So anyways, we can do copy-pasting trees, although I do want to attempt that again, but maybe towards the end of the episode, and then I can get a little bit bolder, but these days with the fact that my CPU is not liking this, I might want to abstain from that and do it off camera, which, as I showed everyone last time, whoops, 1 second. I just got a rather important message. That was just great timing. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, so, yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought because I'm writing this. I just got a message from a teammate about whether we want to put recycling dumpsters or just trash dumpsters at properties that we're doing a project for. So, I just need to respond to this for a quick second, and I will talk about it on camera so that you guys aren't too bored and you can look at the scenery around Asbury Ranch and maybe come up with some ideas. If we can fit them, can't if we can, it'd be fine to not. It'd be fine to just do trash. Any regulations on that? Okay, so we'll return to what we're doing here. Now, the reason I love to just come on and do grass with you guys is because the grass is like the most it's the prep for doing the copy pasting, and then everything else it has to be done after the copy pasting. So I explained this a little bit last episode, but with the way I do things, all of the splines have to be down, or not have to be, but they are the only things that can be down before I copy paste, because I'm copy pasting textures and I'm copy pasting trees. I could probably get away with copy pasting textures just fine and then come back with the trees later. So that might be something I do if I really want to. But for now we can get away with doing just grasses. And the grasses and the other splines like these poles, you know, they look good and they're a pain to put down when the area is covered by trees. I already talked about how Mason has that technique where he moves all of the trees onto a different layer, but that is a little bit intensive and kind of a pain in the butt, and something I frankly just don't feel like doing, because I tried it once and I kept forgetting what layer I was working on, which, just for reassurance's sake, I'm on the right layer right now. I kept forgetting what layer I was working on, I kept putting things on the trees layer that I shouldn't have, and I kept putting trees on the regular layer, so all in all, wasn't a great solution for me. So the new solution is just to go through and put all of the textures down, or all of the splines down before I move the trees in, and then textures I can deal with later. Which, that's another thing that we need to do, something relatively simple, is we need to come through and we need to we need to place all of the brown, like, dirt texture underneath the road so that you can see them from the map view. Alright, there we go. There we go. So, I try to make this 3 or 4 wide. I used to do very thin strips, but now I'm trying to do better. I think I'm going to use that sort of cliffside texture that we found because it's fantastic, gotta say. TBA went above and beyond with a cliff that I saw him building where he used like 7 different rock textures and, you know, mix them together, sort of like I do with the forest floor. But it was seriously impressive and it came out very nice. It came out really nice. This is why I'm glad he's back in our outbuilding scene. Like, I'm happy to see Agili's building because he's made some nice small things. I'm happy to see Jader building because he's always been like, you know, he's always been one for the big projects and he works faster than just about anybody I've ever known in trains and still produces a quality product. But I gotta say, TBA can make things look goddamn beautiful. And there's no denying that, and that's why I love to play with his routes, and I love to look on his routes. You know, even if I don't get to play with them myself, he, you know, his working with the speed tree forest on the IHR is sort of what made me want to turn to doing speed tree forests. Although it was part him, and it was part Kavan. Because Kavan previously did his Forest of Death on his gigantic route, and that was all speed trees, and it was a mess, and it wasn't well defined. It was just 10,000 of the same tree. But that said, it did come out okay, and it sort of made me go, huh, maybe I could do that. I think I'm gonna make this area... Yeah, hold on. I'll put some lower vegetation in this area, maybe? Like grasses. Let me... So, the other thing that's important to do with the splines, or that I do with the splines... is define the edges of where the trees are gonna go. And that's why doing this is so important before I put the trees down. It's because once I put down the trees, it's tough to see what the terrain underneath is like. And I need to... do I need to raise this a little bit? I think I might. That's better. It was... I had created a basin over there and I didn't want a little lake. So... oh god, what was I saying? Yeah, having this grass down is very helpful because it lets me tell when I'm deleting trees where to stop. And I do think this is a little bit too close. Also, this band that's playing right now in the background, let me catch the name real quick. This is Def Wop. This does not sound like them. Then again, I don't know. They're the song for the Google Pixel commercial sounds an awful lot like this, and I don't remember what band that was now. Yeah, it was closer. Oh no, it was Le Maître, wasn't it? Maybe I need to take a look at this, yeah. I need to take a look at that band, then. And just see if there's any sort of connection there, because it sounded a whole lot like them. Like a little bit too much to be coincidence. And also, there's another basin I've created. Didn't want to do that either. This is why you need to pay attention when you're building routes, for real. So this looks very, very green. Like, greener than I'm used to. Put that back a little bit. There we go. Alright, so this area is going to be pretty open. Alright, so this area in between is all going to be trees. Even up over this rise, which this little bump here that the tracks cut through, I think is pretty good for like a small, realistic feature in the landscape. It's just something that would happen when you're cutting across a landmass. You're trying to reach the end of it. You're trying to put something at the end of it so that you don't have to remove as much, but if you move too far towards the end, you're going to have to move out of the way. You know, this where it's like hugging the edge and then it has to cut through here and then hit the trestle and go on this long curved causeway thing. Where we didn't have too much option, just so we could get through here and not get incredibly deep. Which, you know, canonically this fill would probably be mostly stuff from Jefferson Cut up there. The other thing is, this doesn't show where... I should try to keep this back for the poles, I think. This doesn't show where other grasses and where cliff sides and textures without trees will be. So it's not perfect. It's not a perfect system by any means. And over here I can care a whole lot less about it. I don't know why I put that much grass over there. Maybe just because you could see it from the tracks. I'm going to put a little... yeah, we'll put something in there. The thing with building something like this is, you know, even on a model railroad, or maybe especially on a model railroad, because you can't have things like seasonal grass and whatever, you can pick, oh, you know, it's this, you know, this season or whatever. But the more, you know, maybe the better thing to do, just to show off your knowledge of the area that you're building and working in, is to pick not even just a season, but to pick a date. And to say, this is, you know, for an example on this route, because it's not going to be snowy really, I would say, okay, so it's June, you know, it's June 25th, 1954. Or something like that, just to throw out a ballpark number. And, then I've picked a date that's pretty much in the middle of the transition era. That's, that would be supportive of all these different locomotive types that I'm doing, and most of these different locomotives. Sort of the not the political climate, what am I trying to say? Sort of the buildings, the art style, everything that will be, that's known based off of that. I'm gonna move this over here, actually. Because I think this hill, I might make very rocky. This area right here. Anyways. I got distracted once again by grassing. But yeah, the grass is the thing that lets us move forward with the trees. That's the number one, like, okay, let's, how far can we go? Okay, we can go up to this now. And this is, this is a good benchmark. I'm going to grass up to here, and then I'm going to go back and do the shrubs and bushes that will line the edge of this. And then once that's done, we'll go take care of a couple little texture things, and we'll come back around and see whatever we can do next. I don't really have too much interest in heading over to the swamp, but it is an area that I'd like to work on. Again, the beach village as well. The beach village I'm less excited about, but, mostly because nobody's hardly going to see it. And it's just something, it's like, okay, well, what is the coastline really going to look like? Oh, it's going to look like this, and it's going to have some houses and little, mini towns with, like, one general store and, whatever. It's like, okay, well, I guess that's fine. But that's, that's something that, I've got to put effort into that, and I've got to put effort into... furthermore, I have to put effort into towns like Adams, but I'm not sure I'm going to want to scenic that area until A, we have more terrain done in that direction, and B, we have scenery done up to it, because that's a lot. There's not anything that's going to be going on there. It's not like a place where there's going to be a lot of train activity, so building it doesn't help make the route more functional more quickly. It would just be a scenery thing. And the same thing is with the beach community, although that is along a right-of-way that has something to do with both ends so far. But anyways, yeah, the thing with choosing a date, I've even chosen, like I keep saying, okay, it's high tide, because if I build something really close to the water, I don't want to accidentally make it so that if the tide were to come up, it would just consume whatever it is that I just built. I wanted to look like, okay, yeah, this does belong here. At the same time, that means I can't put anything that's like beached or whatever, because it's high tide. If it's ever not going to be, sunken or sinking, it's going to be right now. So I have to pay attention to that. It limits my options, but at the same time, it makes the options I have more viable, and it makes the railroad more consistent as a whole. And that is important. I did talk about what makes a good route. I feel like consistency is extraordinarily important when it comes to a route. At least from the point of view of like looking at it from the outside, and not even necessarily just playing on it, but looking at it and going, okay, well, what is going on here? You have to have a consistent railroad. Having a world where you've got one railroad, but for half of it they use semaphores, for half of it they use, position lights. I guess that's fine if you've defined it that way. But then if you start scattering one in the other's territory, then you're going to just make things confusing. You're going to make things worse. And yeah, I might go back and I might throw in some semaphores somewhere. Maybe on a branch line. I have these cool US&S semaphores and some B&M semaphores that I would love to make use of. The only problem for me is they aren't super signals, so I can't program them. but I would love to throw them in on some branch line of the VMR, which I have at least one planned, and I know what I will be doing with it, and this was a suggestion from Chris. So after we cross over, there's going to be something on the other side of the bridge, something relatively small, sort of like Adams. Maybe a little bit bigger than Adams, but smaller than Mason's Landing. That's going to be on the other side of the massive bridge, once we cross the Valley Railroad coming up. And this, this town is going to have attached to it a branch line. The branch line is probably going to, do some logging or whatever. Nothing really to write home about, and it'll go to where the edge of the forest is, which, coincidentally enough, is heading down toward, back towards, heading back towards the Gilson Eastern, heading back towards the coastline, where the railroad is going to break away and head inland some more. That branch line is going to head the opposite direction, pretty much. And at the same time, there's going to be a railroad that runs out of Bellington, which is the next stop on the Gilson Eastern. It's about 15 miles down. That is going to be sort of the same thing. It's going to be another logging railroad. And these two railroads, in the middle, the logging railroad, quote unquote, is going to be more like the, what is it? Oh, crap. I did not mean to do what I just did. I hope that was not too obnoxious for you. Let me go back real quick, look at the audio. Let me just... I wish I could listen to it at the same time. You might have been hearing a phone call or something. Yeah. It's sort of subdued by the already existing dubstep. But anyways, sorry about that. I got a phone call and then I accidentally picked it up while I was panicking slightly, and then I hung up. So I feel bad about that. But anyways, yeah, now I'm getting a question mark. Sorry about this. Once again, this is the communications episode. Doing UC. Okay, anyways. Back to what we're doing. Consistency is important. What else? Yeah, the other thing, so the reason that pictures of the Allagash Model Railway look so convincing are because it's an unusual thing to do, because, it's up in Vermont. It's, this railroad that runs through the hills, and the model, is very representative of that climate and of that feel, to the point where you can almost tell that it's a chilly day. It has snowed recently because there is some snow on the ground. That sort of thing. It's what makes some of these images so good. It's because it's not only is the scenery work fantastic, it is the sort of date / time / feel that not many other model railroads go for. The NEB&W has some fall scenes, and of course, fall foliage is very, very nice always. The colorful leaves, whatever, can really make a railroad pop, and you saw how long I left this on fall for. But those can get tarnished quickly. The trees of the NEB&W have been there for decades, and they get dusty, and they don't look as good. And so we end up with, a model that, looks good for a model, but it is not at all convincing to, take pictures of it and pretend it's the real thing. Alright, where were we? Did we take care of all this? But yeah, that sort of realism that's important. And if you're going for something like that, then you do have to go above and beyond, because the reason that people would just go for the green grass and green trees approach is because that's really easy. It's much easier to do than, say, dead trees, snow on the ground, dirty piles of snow on the corners of streets, plow trucks, sand, the whole 9 yards. It's easier to just do a normal day where it hasn't rained in, a little while. You've got normal flows in all your creeks and rivers. You've got normal traffic. That kind of thing. People love including these scenes in model railroads, like, oh, a carnival scene, and I'm gonna do that. I'm totally going to do that. There will be an amusement park over in Gilson City, at least. Probably like on a boardwalk or something like that. Gilson City probably has some awesome nightlife. But anyways, I'm forgetting now. What am I saying? I feel like up here, the bushes should be much closer to the track over the top of this cut. I don't know. Whatever. I'll leave it as is. For the future, I might do something different. Violating consistency a little bit, but scenery-wise, yeah, that's kind of where it's going to come out, but at the same time, nature isn't all that consistent in reality. I've said before about the many, many times that I've seen something in real life and looked at it and gone, if I saw that in trains, I probably would think it's fake. I would go, well, this isn't realistic. What are you doing? So, maybe, real life isn't as realistic as you might think. I don't know, there's a metaphor and, some words in there somewhere that are, I don't know, Confucius says, ... Anyways, so, whoa, spin the camera. Nice. Yeah. And by the same token, in trains, it's easier to do this sort of, I'm doing green grass, I am, making the scenery that of, spring or summer, like I just said. There are people by the beach houses. It's probably, if we have a thing with rain, it's just going to rain for a little while. And, yeah, it's been a little while since it's rained. It's not like drought, but it's not as if the creeks are flooded and, rivers are swelling and overflowing. It's important to me to pay attention to that stuff. So to make myself want to rip my hair out a little bit less, I decide on a time and date and a scenario that makes things a little bit easier. Instead of saying, oh, and this is the point in time where, where there was just this massive storm, where there have been rock slides and, whatever. And that's all well and good for a scenario, but if you're doing that kind of stuff for a route, then you might have some trouble actually putting out those scenarios, putting out those sessions, because you'd have to put out a new route with them if you have track that's broken or whatever. Unless you move a lot of stuff to the session layer, and I'm not sure how much of that you can get away with. I know you can move buildings onto the session layer. So if you want to have rocks, which count as buildings, strewn across the track, you can do that. However, you can't detach the track. That's, at least not if your track is part of the route layer, which everything on this map is part of the route layer, for simplicity's sake. I mean, kind of the only reason that everything's part of the route layer on here is the fact that you can't do, the super signal stuff doesn't save. The super signal stuff saves on the session layer. So we have to build in the session so the super signal stuff saves, because otherwise it just won't. And we have to built on the route layer so that everything that we do is then there across all of the sessions. I could build in the route only, but then each time I would have to start anew with the super signals, and I really like the super signals because we can customize them in all the ways that we can. Now, the thing is, I'm still learning what I want to do with the super signals. I'm learning all their functions, and at the same time I'm learning about how signals work in real railroading. Sort of the difference between path signals and speed signals, which I personally, I am partial to path signals. I like the way they work better. I feel like they're more intuitive. But the Pensy signals were never path signals. And so that means they're speed signals, and the different heads just represent different, just different things that you can display, and not really indicative of which way you're going. So that's kind of a problem for me, because I want to use route signals, because I feel like they're much more intuitive, especially when it comes to figuring out position lights, where you can say, oh, that's, it's a vertical bar on the second head, so we're going to be diverging, and we can still go full speed. Whereas, in reality, a vertical bar on the second head is like, slow down to 45. And yeah, I need to read more into it, and I need to learn more specifically about how the Pennsylvania did their signaling. But for the most part, it's sort of like I guess I'm just going to be engineering my own signaling aspects, because for the most part, the super signals don't really affect everything else you're doing. They just they just show different aspects. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna come back over here for a second before we do stuff. What is that flashing light over here? Oh, this is an army barracks, that's right. I was like, this looks cool, I could use this over here. Okay, so I want to do some paint around here, maybe around this edge of the lake. That looks terrible. That looks better. Which way does this face? Let's turn this way. There we go. The thing I want is some dirt. Let's forest floor darker. The question is, like, what do I really want to do with this? Do I want this place to be active, or do I want it to be abandoned? So we got that, we've got this. Just build this sort of trapezoidal thing. Because I don't know... I kind of don't care about the rest of this lot, I just don't think it should be trees. So we can leave this as is, and then just leave this building here as is, and put a couple of, cars next to it. Something that we could do is we could just build a fence that runs around a pen that no longer exists. Like there's nothing in there. Yeah, that's what we can do. Instead of having this army barracks out here, which isn't necessary, I don't really feel like it needs to be there, grab these, like, sclads, or whatever, and put them, put these barns out here. Red Lion Hotel, Red Oak. No. Oh, we've got other ones. Let's see. Do we have a barn-looking one? Like a better barn? What is this? Here, let's put this over behind the pump station. There we go. What is this? Here, let's put some junk just over here. A couple of these. Some, I don't think I want to put a tractor over there. I do want to put, like, another one of these. And maybe some piles of ties or wood or whatever. And then, yeah, we could build a really junky fence around here. Although building like another house, let's see. I don't know, how bad does that look? Where's the door on this thing? So we have this fence. I kind of wish we had a crappier fence. That's what I want. Let's get a crappy fence. Fence. Oh, old fence. I would totally do this if it wasn't 2D. DS fence 4 bar. Let's see. Ah! I was holding shift. It's like this one. Too nice. I was holding shift. I'm still holding shift. Here's the kind of fence that I wanted. It's in a field that nobody cares about. It was, you know, part of it's destroyed. Let's see. Whoa. Alright, game. Calm down now. Alright, so we're gonna let the way in be over here somewhere. Let's split that like that. I don't know why I always think that's in the advanced settings. It's not. Nope, wrong button. The other thing I might do, I might actually, you know, take out another little piece of it here. Or maybe even, you know, something worse, where I remove one piece and then lower that like so. Straighten that. Okay. Bring this out to like here. This is practice for building the farms around Bellington, but these are abandoned. Yeah, some big pen for something that God knows what. I don't care. Alright, so let's go back. And now we gotta cover this all with grass. Just complete coverage. There doesn't even need to be, gaps in it. Nothing's living out here. You could put like a deer out here. I wish we had like a couple of small trees that we could drop in here, like trees that were beginning to grow. There. Right, move this slightly. Move this slightly. Alright, there we got pretty homogeneous grass. Let's grab these shrubs. There should probably be one like over here, another one here, and another one here. No, I want the big leaf. That's what I put in all these, right? Yep. Boom. And then there, and there. Actually, no, you know what? I think I want to leave these just clumps, although maybe except for one or two, and instead of grabbing a fence, just go get a stump. If this one's big enough. Yeah. Just leave the stump in the middle. How about a river birch? Yeah, I could throw down a bunch of these. Maybe like one over there too. Yeah, this is nice to break it up a little bit. And then maybe encroach the farm a little bit with the forest more. It's pretty easy to just throw down a bunch of trees and call it forest, because that's what it is. Little cluster of birch trees there. Maybe even one that's like, boom, I'm growing on your fence. But these guys typically grow in pretty hefty clusters in reality. But this guy, boom, he's growing straight through your fence. He doesn't care. Alright, so now we need to finish the grassing around the edge of the lake, so let's take care of that. Did I get another... I'm trying to make sure that I don't get / lose, don't get or miss anything real important. What is this? Okay. Did I grab the right? Oh, no, I didn't. Alright, so I do want these though, but I want them a little bit farther back, and I don't want them in the horse pen. I kind of want... So let's bring these closer. And then these guys close to the edge. But what I really want is I want the lesser spline to be right on the edge, although I don't think I have any of that over here. So I need to go grab it off of either the road or the railroad, which would be the place to get it. Where is it? It's right on the edge here. It's the slightly lighter grass. There we go. I think. Yep, that's it. There's a little bit of grass in the water, but that's just fine. You know what I should put in, because the water's probably super stagnant? Let's get the reed splines out of the swamp. Out of the estuary. Put that there, put this over here. No, you know what? Let's get rid of this area behind the house being all grassed up. We can just leave that as is, probably. Although on the side here, that might be a place for some. Make this look like it's covered in grass. Let's grab like this. That's better. How about we just get a bush? Bush. Nailed it. How about like a speed bush? B-U-S-H. Bus. Yes. Now let's go back to tree. Tree, olives, Alaskan cedar, beech. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Plant a little beech tree out there, why not? What's up? Alright, so let's finish this around here. That might be a little bit too close. And I hope it swings the right way. Let's see when it appears. Nope, wrong way. Alright, there. Got a little bit of grass in the lake once again. Alright, let me get my small spline again. There you are. Right along the edge. I'll try and get some... Oh, I was holding shift. I know I was. I wasn't just holding enter this time. Okay, so this area is almost, well, no, we still need to deal with this over here. This is another area that I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with. What is this building? Oh, it's that. It's the motor pool. That's what this building is. Grab that. Oh, I definitely did click on that. Grab it. Alright, so... yeah. Alright, so like so. That actually does look better, marginally. What else? You know what? Stone walls might help, too, just for the appearance. for this area right in front of the house, and then we'll surround the rest of it in grass. There, then there, and there, and there. I almost got this area done. So we just need to worry about the area in the back. Okay. And this we can't really fill in. Oh, I shouldn't have even drawn that. Because we're going to tree this area real hard. It's going to get a poof tree right on it. Oh, we couldn't have even put this building there. That building's going to get deleted. We're going to have to put it back. Unless I very carefully work around it, which I can do. It's not impossible. This. Definitely have a pen of something over here. I just don't know what. Oh, you know what? You know what? I know. I know. I don't know how many thingies they, I don't know how many chickens a nice wide open area can support, but gotta get some free range chickens in the back here. Cooper's garage. Oh god. It's got the 4M standard bump. Okay, so back to grass. I will make this area like the motor pool. So, grab the building, and this is going to be the most remotely paved area in this area. So how about pavement 09? No, that's bad. How about pavement 02? That looks like a slab almost, except it doesn't. Pavement 06. All of this is like tiled pavement. I don't know what the hell. Yeah, no, this is all terrible. Pavement 10. What if I turn the scale way down? That looks potentially worse. It's just pitch black. That's always useful. Grab this again, put it in the back of this area. So we have a bit of the lot that's paved, and then a lot of it that isn't really paved. And then we need to fill in the back of this with some more grass. Like, the thing I wanted to do was just create fields, but I'm not sure how common, you know, there are fields without a good reason for them to be there. You know, it's like, well, why is this area continually cleared? You know, who's putting in that effort? Because if you don't, it just turns back into forest. You know, that's the ultimate question. Let's get some chicken wire. No. Barbed wire fence. Would this keep the chickens in? Because I don't think so. No, they would go right through that. They do not care. We need chicken wire. Wire mesh. Yeah, that's more like it. Still doesn't go down far enough. Which, that's, you know, easy fix for that. Nice big chicken pen. And there's definitely a gate in here somewhere. Featherboard. Let's find some other buildings to throw in here. There. Okay, that's cool. Treadway. Oh, hey, it's Treadway Ave again. One of those, just one. Yeah, I don't have a reason for why this would continue to be filled in. Or cleared. Opposite of filled in. But we're just gonna grass it up, call it a day. I'm just gonna put shrubs in here because that area is too tight for trees. Oh, that's right, we have more buildings in the back here. I just keep going and finding more buildings that I put down just to fill in the space because it's a nice open area. It's this small community. You know, a handful of people live here. It's not like, you know, there used to be 50,000 people living here, now it's a ghost town. Alright, there we go. Nice grass. I do think the grass looks very good over the multicolored grass base. Like, the grass splines look good over the multicolored base. Very good. Much better than they would over a single color base, that's for sure. And I can, you know, the testament to that is if you look over at the area that's just upriver from the bridge, over the Deer Run. It's just grass on a pretty monochromatic ground, and the ground also happens to be very similar to the color of the grass, so it doesn't help. It doesn't look that good. The other thing that could be is like having a pigsty, pig pen. Maybe on this side of the road I'll just make one. But then why would the chickens have more room than the pigs? I'll just leave that there. It's a lot harder to police. Can we get like a barn or something that looks like it? One of these like prefab barns. Put it over here by the motor pool. No. Don't do that. I do kind of want to have this, but I don't know what to do with it. It looks like it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good, and the reason it doesn't look good is just because it's what it is. It's not a good-looking object in real life. It's just a prefab metal barn thing. I hesitate to call it a barn, because it's really not like a barn. It looks more like a garage. I want to get rid of these. I want to flatten this area, basically. And stop the barn from slowly sinking at the same time. To do that, I do want to... Well, actually, I want to lower the barn a little bit, because I want the slab to be hidden. So it's fine that I do this. I just need to cover that triangle. There we go. Now we'll figure out textures for this. How about this in this area over here? Jada can critique my farm skills any day. We are an hour in, though. I will go over the other relevant comment aside that isn't the discussion topic question shortly. Whoops. To do that. Okay. Nope. Okay, so we do almost have this area done. Although I don't have any grass around here, or like good texture. Need is the edge texture that we just need to layer real hard. And of course, edge width. Real good edging along these grass to not really grass sections. I think it's, this is a very good spline for that because it's very small and thin. Along the fence maybe as well, and along the road. And I need to fill in those spots. There's a lot of like miscellaneous texturing that we need to do this episode. Just crash my camera into this tree. Alright. I don't want to put too much stuff onto the road, or really I don't want to put anything on the road in terms of grass bits. But there's a trade-off between getting close enough to the edge of the road that it actually looks correct and putting a little bit of stuff onto the road, We are trying to be good, we're not trying to be perfect, and good enough is good enough. Alright. So, in this little area between the buildings is fine. And then over here by the edge of the road is fine. And I do want the other texture back. This is close enough to what we had before. It's actually, yeah, it's pretty close. There. There we go. There. And we're getting pretty far away from the track now. We do not need to care all that much about the way things look as long as they look. There's a reason why I dedicate so much to building away from the track and, having tiles there and everything, because it's way better to see something, even if it's a even if it's a tile that's just a hill that's covered in trees, it's way better to see that than it is to see no tile. Or worse, the edge of the next tile. It's not something that you want to be, looking at when you're driving your train, because it takes you totally out of it. Because then you'll be thinking, I can see the edge of the next tile instead of, look at all this, all this beautiful, these rolling hills covered with trees, or these fields, or, whatever. Whatever you happen to build. You want people to be looking at what you built, not what you haven't built. And, you can substitute my rolling hills with just about anything. Obviously, the rolling hills are pretty easy to do. You just have to do the terrain work, which, as we've shown, you can get a lot of that done in a pretty short time if you set your mind to it. The terrain work, and then copy-pasting tons of trees onto them. That's not all that difficult. You can get away with that pretty easily. And then boom, you have terrain into the distance. Done deal. Let's grab this again. Actually, no, I want the other kind of grass that we had over here. Slightly deeper grass. There we go. Whoa, come on, game. Easy does it now. Okay. Still dunking. Dunking real good. Dunking real hard. Around this corner is just, this area is ready for a copy-paste of trees, and boom, it'll be done. Except with a little bit of texturing. And now that we're done with this, I'm trying to give it one last look over, but the game is not letting me. Now that we're done with this, except for, actually, let me make this a slightly different color. I don't know what color chicken pens are supposed to be, but I'm just gonna make it this sort of blandish, whatever. It looks better standalone than the other thing did. We can see way back into there. The only thing we can't see is all this scenery right there, and then we can't see back there. Well, we can't really look back there. Alright, let me grab the question. Bonnie Game. First, thing I've personally never seen watched hitchhikers, or, yeah, the comment's in the wrong place. First, thing I've personally never seen / watched Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but my brother has watched the show. Cool. Second, did you watch Thomas and Friends ever? Okay, I'm gonna have to handle this one thing at a time, because I'm not gonna go back and, do the whole question at once. Yeah, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy show, heard it's very, very good, and very funny, and, Adams, I believe, had plenty of input on that. I think he did. He didn't die that long ago. Let's go over to... Let's go... Okay, so we've got the brown line for this. I need to grab that texture real quick. Yeah, so that's cool. You should watch it. I wholeheartedly recommend, as I'm sure you understood from last time. But, and it's not everybody's bag. Yeah, secondly, did I ever watch Thomas and Friends? Did I ever watch Thomas and Friends? I don't know how many VHS tapes I have for Thomas and Friends. And I need to go back, and I want to know if that was, was that when George Carlin was narrating? Because if so, I want to go back and watch them because it'll add like a whole new layer to it for me. Because, when I was young, I didn't know who the guy was, but now I love George Carlin. And yeah, so I wanna go back. I wanna go back and listen to them. Currently they are with my cousin who has 4 daughters under the age of 5. Yowza, right? And that would be like a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and well, it's probably a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and 1-year-old twins now because they've been alive a little while. But yeah, that being said, that's where they are. But I watched the hell out of them when I was a kid. Oh God, I wish I remembered what my favorite episode was. I know my least favorite one was Toby and the Dam because I got scared that like he wasn't gonna make it every single time. I stopped watching that episode because it was too much. I couldn't do it. I'm sure it would be different if I watched it now, but you never know. Thomas and Friends, it wasn't the first exposure that I ever had to trains, I think, but it may have been. As soon as I realized my parents were as soon as I realized I was into trains, and then my parents realized I was into trains, they did everything they could to stop me from going down that horrendous path. No. They supported me wholeheartedly. They took me places. They took me to, like, the Valley Railroad in Essex. Sorry, I had to take a drink. They took me to Edaville before it was Thomas Land. Back when it was good. They took me on the Green Mountain Railroad. I went to Steamtown for the first time when I was 7 years old. And then went back when I was 14, and then went back when I was 21, so I had this rhythm going, and I'm gonna have to go back at least when I'm 28, if not before then, depending on when 3713 gets done. But, that being said, yeah, no, Thomas and Friends was totally my thing. Between that and, like, Thomas and Friends... I had Thomas and the Magic Railroad on VHS. I still do. I know where that is. I had 587, which, yeah, I know. But I watched that way too many times as a kid to let go of it now. What else? What other train movies did I even have as a kid? Because it was like... There aren't all that many, I don't think. If you want to count... Why is there a hole in my ground? If you want to count Back to the Future 3 as a train movie, I love that film. Oh, you know what I think happened? This is probably a 10 meter and that's a 5 meter grid. There we go. Problem solved. This is a little bit awkward. There we go. That's all I care about, that it doesn't break the surface. Then it would look real weird. This tiny baby birch tree, I need to move. Move over here. Move over here. The third thing, I'm gonna cry. Now, the third part of his question is, do you have Geiger Mountains? Or third, do you still have the Geiger Mountains map anywhere? And the answer is no. I lost it many years ago. You can hear my lament in one of the very last episodes of Trayman Plays Trains 2006 or whatever, or just Trains Road Simulator 2006. Before I moved on to calling the series the Zombie Train, so before I released the original series, or the original story there. And then read it aloud on air. Oof. Talk about things to be ashamed of, right? No, I'm kidding. It was bad, but, you know, we all start somewhere. Oh, the music's freaking out. Again. At least we've made it this far. How far are we in? We are an hour and 50 minutes in. If we lose the music now, it won't be nearly as bad as last time when we lost it 5 minutes into the video and I just gave up. I didn't feel like fixing that. You know what? I think I'm going to put down some shrubs. Shrub. Month. Yeah, so the original map, and it's funny, I vividly remember, as a matter of fact, I vividly remember throwing out the paper map for Geiger Mountain saying, I have all the track work done, I won't need this again. And I mean, I have plenty of, you know, visual records of what the map looked like, because I made videos in it. But the file is lost to time, and that's the way it will be, and that's the way it will always be. It's... I have something that I enjoyed. Geiger Mountains had plenty of flaws. It had like a 20% grade at one point. But I did enjoy it. It was my first big project in trains that actually was going anywhere, and I got to show it off, and I got to do all these cool things with it. And then it didn't survive the move from one version of Trains 2006 to the other. It didn't. I don't remember exactly what happened. But it had to do... Oh no, I reinstalled 06 because it was reaching a point where it was crashing extraordinarily often. Like, very, very often. Like, you know, it was a solid, like, 20 minutes you got in-game, and that was that. And then you were done. You weren't getting any farther. And I did this repeatedly. You know, I made a bunch of videos like that. Oh my god, just let me click on the shrubs. Okay, I want this. There we go, finally, about time. Alright, let's put down the shrubs in the back here. Watch out, the floor is lava. Well, let's go back here. Okay, so... yeah, Geiger Mountains is gone. And it has been. And I wish there was some way that I could have gotten it back, but there was no way. You know, maybe if I tore apart 06 and its files, and, you know, maybe it'd be in there somewhere, because I never uninstalled Trains 2006, but I don't think that local file, you know, that local data, those local files, even exist anymore. And, you know, moreover, I don't think there'd be a way to pull them apart and access Geiger Mountains. Because I don't know. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what happened to this. So, no. Long answer, no. Short answer, no. I wish. Then again, yeah, like I said, it had some flaws. The one thing that was fantastic about it was that it was basically completely automated at that point. And I would love to do something like that again. I would love to get a smaller route that has everything in order and just try to automate it once they fix the AI in Tane again. But until then, there's really not anything that I'm going to do with the AI. As much as I love doing things with the AI, they're, you know, hands down my favorite part of playing with trains is Trains with a Z, that is. You know, aside from maybe just the building aspect and looking at the finished product, it's making the AI do all my work for me. And I love that. It's, you know, it's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, that's, you know, That's good stuff. That's what I enjoy. Let's see. So I pushed the grass right up to the edge here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of just... I don't know what to do with this area, actually. I think I'm just okay with leaving this as is. Because it's not... I don't know, it's nothing to write home about. Hey, look, we've got the top of that bridge in the background. Okay. We've got these guys. What did I just move? I'll put that over there. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's arrange some buildings while we're over here. Last part of the question. Fourth, call the creek Little Creek. Or comment, I should say. Where's Little Creek? Little Creek! Which, not that one. The other one that I don't have a name for. This one. Let me get a runway number. So we've got Lil Creek. I'm not gonna do the apostrophe. It's too much for me. Ironic that it's planned to be possibly the longest river on the map so far, because it's gonna go all the way up this way. Eventually I'll fill in this area back here, and that bald spot there, and all these other things that are missing areas. Are missing whatevers. Whatever. You guys know what I mean. Alright, where are we going? We're going to the beach village. Which is right over here. Okay, so buildings come back. Buildings come back. Buildings please. Let's put this over here. This is our store. There we go. It's like, we have only a handful of different houses. I'm not sure how I want to do this. You know, I had them all clustered, and now I can just arrange them. Let's rotate them. Right there, right there. They don't need to make sense necessarily, they just need to all be here. And it just needs to not look bad, which that's the real problem. That's the real difficulty. Making things look good. We've got a rugby field. Awesome. We've got crossing things. I'm gonna assume these are all JR or something. We've got all this. Ooh, this could be useful. Oh, this is nice. I can't see. There's a thing in the way. Well, I don't know what this is. Row houses. Rowboat. Put that somewhere, maybe. Rowboat. That. This. Oh, it's a boat. Some bushes. That's cool, I guess. Oh, that's really cool. I recognize that. Okay, we have all these roof gables. If you really felt like doing that. We've got rock board depots, we've got a rocking horse, we have a giant rock. I mean, just the rock stuff. I don't know what I want to do with this. Okay, we have the buildings down. That's good. We've got this far. This area I'm not going to be able to copy-paste trees in because we've got all the buildings anyways. Which means that I'm going to be doing all the texturing by hand. Probably. Which means that I can at least come along the coast and make it sandy. Up to here, maybe. We can avoid making that inner bit sandy. Which is just fine. Just fine by me. Right, along the coast still. Put this over here. But thank you for the comments today, Boda Use Guys, Icer the Blue Lion, and... Oh no, sorry, not Icer. Bonnie Gaming and Shortline Productions. I saw the like blue out of the corner of my eye. And I was like, oh yeah, that was one of the people. No, I said the names a minute ago, didn't I? Although I don't think I've actually mentioned Shortline since the very beginning when I said that we had a discussion topic by him. And yeah. Decided not to do it. Because I didn't get, I had a couple of people. One of them ended up having to go, the other one started having technical problems, and I was like, yeah. Anyways, so here's the thing, by the way. I know that I start a lot of tangents, and I do not finish them all. I don't even come close. If there is ever a thing where I was talking about something, and you're like, you never finished your thought, please write me a comment. Because I will just move on and never come back to that subject. And, you know, I may not necessarily go back and rewatch the episode to figure out what I was talking about, but if you can give me some context, I could probably remember at least a little bit of what I was thinking. And hopefully not get hung up at the exact same spot. Forget again. I used to watch this YouTuber called Miyoko28, and he did like a Spore series and a Halo series, and he was cool. You know, he was a very small YouTuber. I don't know how I came across him. But it was the kind of thing where I was like, oh, this guy is really cool. Like, he just makes these videos that otherwise, you know, I'm not sure too many people make, and they were very simply done. You know, sort of like mine. They weren't really edited. They were just there. And I loved it. And I ate it up when I was younger. I don't remember when this was exactly. But it may well have been before I started making videos. You know, I ate it up. It was I thought it was fantastic. And the thing is myself and, you know, everybody else that watched him love to just listen to him talk. And I assume that's why you guys come here too. But the important thing is, the thing that I'm trying to get to is that he would be like, alright, I'm going to sign off now. And you'd look and there would be like 20 minutes left of the video. And he would just continue with a stream of consciousness, sort of, you know, the thing that I do all the time, for a while. And it was really cool. And I don't know why I'm doing all this with sand, because I'm going to come in here and with trees and wipe it out. Pretty much, absolutely. I skipped the... Yeah, there we go. The other thing I should be doing is grassing up the edge here. And doing the texturing on the edge of the main line. That's another thing. Oops, I grabbed the wrong tap. I want this again. I want this forest floor darker. 50 Shades darker. Alright, so right along the edge here. Very carefully. Very careful. Careful. And we're just playing with dirt right now, so I can just use the dirt texture. If we were to get into a nice deep rock cut, I would be running for that other texture already, but we don't. It's pretty shallow. Pretty shallow dirtness. I just want to make it so that it's not grid and it's not the same green. You know, there is a formula that you can use. That's only a very few simple things that can make a map look great. And I did that when I built the original portion of the old main on the Iron Horseman route, which was the line from Troy to Providence. And it was just a couple of textures, a couple of splines, and track. And that was pretty much it. I just sort of wound through. I did the grass, I did the trees with the Maple Beach birch. And you know, I put the track down, and that was it. It was easy, it was simple, and I got commended on how good I made it look. And I really did not do all that much. I had, you know, I had some spline that was directly, or not spline. I had some texture directly under the track, like a dirt or a ballast texture. It was a ballast texture. Then I had a texture that was directly around that. Did I? Oh, crap. Oh, no. I did not realize what I did at all. Damn it. I didn't even realize what I did. I copy-pasted over the interlocking tower. Ah, I've got to do that all over again. Nuts. I copy-pasted over the interlocking tower. It was right, you know, it was here. And I deleted it by accident. And the advanced interlocking tower that goes with it. Oh, I'm so stupid! Why'd I do that? Alright, I gotta go grab an interlocking tower. I guess what I'm not looking forward to doing is this again. It's been a while since I've done an interlocking tower. But that's not great. I want the regular signal cabin as well. The thing is, I'm wondering if there's any way at all that I could move in the tower from a previous version of the route. Yeah, just to make my life a little bit less easier. Or less easier, wow. No, I already did that part. I made my life less easier. I deleted the thingy. OSI. Oh. Alright, so I want advanced interlock. Nope. How about... There we go. God damn it. I wonder if there's any way I can do this. Although it really isn't that hard, it's just kind of like, alright, let's, you know, it just takes a bit of effort. And even this interlocking is pretty simple. This interlocking is pretty simple. And, you know, because compared to Olive North interlocking, that's a pain. That one's much more of a pain in the butt than this one is. This is probably the easiest one that I have on the map. So I can abstain from doing this, maybe do it next episode if I don't figure out a way to import the stuff, or copy and paste it over. I'm not sure if you can copy and paste like, from one route to another? I don't think you can. Oh, you know what I could always do, though? Oh boy, do I have a dumb decision. So, you know what? A dumb idea. And I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna, you know, save this for, like... Okay, so we're 35 minutes into the video. Or an hour and 35 minutes, I should say. We've got 25 minutes left. So if I ruin it here, if I crash the game, I'm just going to use the rest of the time to come back, make sure we didn't lose anything, and do that. You know, I'm going to try and save everything, which could screw with my synchronization with the audio and videos. But I'll have, you know, audio and video, so I'll have to fix that. But that's okay. It's the price I have to pay for my own stupidity and laziness because of what I'm about to attempt. And, okay. So what happened up here? Oh, you know what? I made this area open. I specifically opened up this area so I can put something up there. Something that looks good. The other thing is I did clear out this area so I could put some gravel down. And that. Or that. Oh, I don't want to have the hiccups right now, though. Continue making sure we're using the right spline. Okay. Well, at least we can't accidentally copy and paste this again. Just a friendly reminder to everyone to be careful what they're copy pasting, because they're going to screw themselves over and it's going to suck. It really is. But at least we got new stuff done this week. And we're about to attempt something stupid. Once I get all this grass done. This is my prereq for that. Just gonna do the grass along here. And under here. I'm gonna cover this tiny piece of blue. There we go. And I will take this all the way back. This is why, for the record, that you do this before you put the trees in, because now I can't see what I'm doing. Friendly reminder, once again, to do things in the correct order. Like so. I know, there's too much. That's too close to this prestigious high-speed main line, and we do not want grass that close. There we go. Okay. I like the way this is looking now. We had to come back along this side and do the same thing with the grass. And there. Keep going, keep going. Alright. Over this way. Over this way. And now we have grass poking out of the bottom of the bridge. There we go, that's better. Now the grass is in the river instead, but at least it's under the bridge and we don't have to worry about it. Except for the bits that aren't. Get rid of this grass. Really? Like there? Is the grass gone? What the hell is giving me all this grass? Taco Bell, probably. How about now? We've got like a couple patches of grass and they are on the track, so I'm okay with that. Compromises, yo. Okay. Alright, 20 minutes left in the video. I think we're good to go. So let's attempt something remarkably stupid. First things first, we're going to save this route. And we're going to save it as a new one. We're going to save it as 0.14. Then, we're going to figure out what version of the route has an existing functional all of south interlocking. How far back can we go? Yeah, exit surveyor. Let's go back to the route menu. Watch, we're going to have extra time. It's going to just work like nothing. And we're going to have extra time, and I'm going to have no idea what to do with it. Alright, go back to this. Alright, so we've got this. 0.10 probably has it. How about No, 0.8 definitely does. 0.2.2 might have it. Let's see. Oh, I was playing with it. Let's see if this has it. If this has it, we're going to use this. In fact, I'm going to go on a murder spree first. Come on, game. Oh, that's right. This does take a while to load. We still will have the entire town of Olive in this version because it's 0.0.2 or 0.2, whatever. And that means we do have plenty to load, but it will be most of the stuff that we already had in RAM, probably, unless it unloaded all of it from RAM. It did unload a little bit from RAM, at least some of it. Probably quite a bit of it, as a matter of fact. But it should load in not so slowly. I just have to figure out, okay, does this version have a working Olive South interlocking? Oh, no, it wouldn't. If it's 0.2.2, that means it's before I added the... You know what? It still might work. But I'm going to delete a lot. Like I said, I'm going to go on a murder spree. Okay, so here we are. We're back in Olive. Where is the tower? There's the interlocking tower. This probably, the other one is underground underneath it. This is not the one that I need. Obviously. Okay, so... Where were we at this point? Okay, we'd done the track. Okay, so we hadn't built the interlocking yet. So we need to go to 0.8. Also, we didn't even have... We had 2 tracks up to here. Look at this. Look how stupid I was. I was like, I'm just going to build 2 tracks up to here and then cross the thing with 1. Also, look how bad this area is. We didn't have that area done yet. We didn't have this done yet. We had, we just started building tracks in this direction, and this area had trees. Anyways, we did have some of the tiles and some of the coastline in mind, but exit surveyor. We need to go back. We need to grab a different version, and that version is probably going to be this one. If it's not, it's going to be the test session. No, you know what? I'm just going to go to the test route. Edit. And I'm okay with deleting all the stuff off the test route. The reason the test route exists is because the AI was going totally haywire and stopped working. Oh, what is that? I see a turn to 10 in the Terminus guest list. Oh, okay. And it's, of course, Kevon finding an article from my hometown. So we need to load back into here. We need to make sure that all of South interlocking exists, which it will in this version. because by this point in time, by point 2.8, I had Mason Valley. It existed. So I had pretty much the whole coastline done. Let's see where we're at. Okay, here we are. Oh, we've got Nick. Okay, I was testing with him, that's right. Okay, so let's fly real quick. Okay, so this is what we had done at this point. We had all the terrain work done. At least up to... No, we should have had all the terrain work done. All the terrain work along the Gelson Eastern. Because I started working over here. And because I had to cross the hill there, so... Let's go to Olive South Interlocking, which is back here. Yeah, there it goes. OSI. But we just have the thing called OSI. Now, do we have the Olive South Interlocking box, or is it the underground thing? Okay, it looks like it's the underground thing. Which, that is okay. Or is it? It's down here somewhere. Nope. Where are you? I don't know where it is. Hold on. No, don't do that. Don't do that either. What do I want? I want this. Add. Ah, crap. Come on. I hit add rule, and now we've ended the world. The other thing I want is something about the interlockings, right? Interlocking tower management rule. Edit. Well, let's throw one of these down. Okay, no. I don't remember how to do this, and I don't know where the hell my interlocking tower is that belongs over here. There is the one under here. Right? Where is it? Turn off gradients, for God's sake. O&I, how about industry names? No. How about terrain objects? I don't know what I'm looking at. Now, did I delete the interlocking towers on this one? I think I might have. Let's just dig a hole. Oh, you know what? Way easier way to do this whole thing. Put that back. Turn on wireframe. Okay, yeah, there's no interlocking tower under there. Okay, so we have to go back into the regular one? Exit sprayer. Don't save this map that we've made a mess of and punched holes in. How about... Okay, let's go to the regular one. Let's go to the edit session. Edit session. That's good. That's all good. I just did my taxes. Oof, adulting, it's hard. Oops, I accidentally opened the resource monitor. Computering is also hard. Oh, we've got another 10 minutes. Can we solve this in 10 minutes? I know this is so riveting watching the loading screen again and again. The goal of this is to find a world in which I haven't been stupid enough to delete the interlocking tower. Okay, there's one. It's there. Is it an advanced one? It is an advanced one. That's not quite what I wanted, but it's good enough. So here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to delete a lot. Or, actually, first thing that we could try to do. Can we paste this? We can. Okay. I'm going to go test something. Yeah. Go and see. I'm going to go test something. Let's go to the test world. Go to the test world and paste. Let's see if we can paste. I wonder if there's any way we can hack the system and do this. Either way, we're going to have to delete a whole lot of tiles. One option is going to make our lives easier in the... Okay, I can't do that. That's for sure. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is this button? What does this do? Grab that. Oh, that's not what I wanted it to do. Okay, back to the other route. Back to point 2.8. And I'm just going to go on the route layer because that's what matters right now. Point 2.8. Just double click on it. Let's open it up. Double clicking on it didn't work. We're also going to see what's missing. Alright, so we've got 8 minutes to delete a lot of tiles. And guess what? This action cannot be undone. We've got 8 minutes to load the map twice. That's the thing that we need to do. Okay, so we're here. This presumably... Let me just check first. Works. Okay. I'm going through a lot of effort for something that I shouldn't. I should just do it again. I'm doing a proof of concept right now. Here's what I'm going to do. Go over here. Go over here. Delete. Do not show this again. Okay, yeah, you can show the warning again. Because if I accidentally delete a tile, I don't want to be like, oh crap. Alright, so I'm deleting some pretty simple ones, but we're going to have to delete lots of things. Does it leave floating things still? Oh no. No, get rid of the hovering crap. God damn it. Hold on. I heard the sheep. Oh, that's because that's a track. How come it won't let me delete it? Are there, like, things to delete? Alright, what's going on here? Get rid of this track. Okay. Get rid of this track. What is that? That piece of track. This piece of track and that piece of track. Okay, there. Mission accomplished for that. There, got rid of that. Half of the town is gone. Or the pretty much the whole town that isn't the other thing is gone. So that's good enough. Continue with what we're doing. Yes, prosthetic Ogon gels. No, it left 2 things. Get rid of those bits. I don't know why this happens. Have to get rid of this spot too. To get rid of everything. Goodbye. Is that a piece of track? It's a piece of track. There we go. Delete these roads while we're here, so that they don't cause a problem later. That isn't a sustainable strategy. Okay, continue. I wish this just went off without a hitch, but apparently deleting large amounts of terrain without any, like, good reason confuses the hell out of the game. Like, I do want it to show that warning again eventually, but I don't want it to show it right now. But then again, it's not exactly costing us that much to do this. In terms of time, it's 1 extra click. Ah! All of these things had to do with ATLS crossings. Get rid of them. You know what, to be honest, there's no guarantee that this is going to work once we get it done, and we have way too many friggin' tiles to delete for me to actually... Yeah, no, it's okay. So I'm sure you guys understood what I was going for. I wanted to cut out just this tile, and, yeah. I wish I could save part of it as another route, like delete everything else, but that's not an option. So I'm just not going to do that. Whatever. I'll just have to rebuild the interlocking. It's not that hard. I did... That was an incredibly cathartic process, however, deleting the entire town of Olive. Because, wow, that thing took my life. I know by the time that I load back into the map, it's going to be a, I'm just going to get rid of the new thing. I know it's going to be the end of the episode by the time we get back into the map, but it's, I need to get rid of the little new tag or else I'll ignore it and click on the previous version. Also, did I just go into the route layer? Or did I go into the session layer? It's not important, we're not going to be changing anything. Yeah, I guess I'll throw the interlocking back together next episode. I can't believe I deleted it by accident. That was real smooth on my part. Just so, oof, smooth, nice. And I've been playing around with that area too. You'd think I would have noticed that the interlocking tower was gone, because I was doing work on all the signals there. But, nope, didn't matter. Yeah, so it's here now. Yeah. I don't know if I went into the route layer on that. Or the session layer. No, I guess I went into the session layer. It's a blur at this point. I'm just like, I've got to rebuild this interlocking tower. So anyways, I appreciate you guys for sticking around. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week. Be sure to leave any comments, questions, or concerns, or discussion topics down in the comments, and I will be happy to talk about them. Trainman out.